technical, complicated stuff, but I want to run into some of the principles of putting a program together, just so we have a bit of an understanding on base level philosophy when writing a program. Secondly, we're going to have a look at some of the qualities we should be looking at, based on the assessments that we do, the new member assessment, and we're going to be releasing that new assessment. And so I want to make sure that when we're looking at our clients, we're looking for a certain amount of qualities that will inform our programming. So I want to look at that. And then finally, I want to just look at the strength corrective, right? So we're going to look at the first strength corrective program. Hands up who's used the strength corrective program. Cool. Hands up if you don't understand the strength corrective program. Yep. Hands up if you have challenges around, like you find the strength correct, you don't understand it and you find that there's some challenges around doing it. Sorry? People hate it. Okay, cool.
I do resource for some client. I use strength corrective at the beginning. I use for some variation as well. So I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's okay. Today is just about like trying to get onto the same page with it. So don't worry too much about doing it exactly or not, because there is a lot to the framework, but today I just want to simplify it. So we can all just understand what the strength corrective is, what it's used for, and how we can utilize it to best solve the challenges, whether it be clients hating it, or you're not sure how you can periodize it, you're not sure how you progress it, you're not sure when someone should progress it. Cool? I'm not going to go through everyone, but just a couple of things that people want to learn about the strength corrective, or just programming in general, just simple programming for us. Remember, we're not doing advanced stuff. Is there anything in particular that people want to get out of the session?
I would say based on previous conversations, like basic structure, like what goes where, principles of what goes where.
In a program?
Yeah, programming structure.
Awesome, yep.
For example, whether you've had a couple of conversations about it, like compare last or whatever. Another example would be like why. Why do you do it? Why is it good?
Yep. Thanks, E. Really good, thanks for that. Anyone else?
I think specifically the strength corrective, like, I feel like people have their different takes on like why. I want to know the essence of what it is first before I start changing it, I guess. Like, why certain exercises, because some exercises I'm like, oh, it's a little bit more advanced than that one. Like, I see it works, but I don't necessarily understand why.
Gotcha. So you want to know why it works? Yep. They're really good ones. I think we can. Does anyone else have?
Maybe just mixing it with another style of starting program.
Yeah.
People maybe just got that board or whatever, being only stability.
Yeah. That's a really good question. How we can mix it with the other goals? Yeah. Unfortunately, guys, I am going to just be referring to my notes today, so I'm not going. I just want to just to keep my head nice and focused, so I don't ramble. Firstly, okay, so when we're looking at a program, let's start off. Let's get started with going through just the basics when we're thinking about programming, right? This might be a little bit boring for some, but I just want to go through the basics. So what are the four main goals when someone comes in, they want to get out of their training program? Four main goals. Strength. Can you write these? Small? Can you write them small? Because we've got. Yeah. So what are the possible outcomes?
Hypertrophy, fat loss, energy levels comes up a lot. Mobility.
Yep. So we're gonna yep. So let's go. So strength.
Injury free.
Then go fat loss. Then go hypertrophy. Then go like, yeah, fitness, general fitness. General fitness. I'm going to put all that, I'm going to put like feel good, energy levels, like just feel better. I want to put that in under general fitness.
General well-being is
Yeah, but I want to keep it fitness for now because we're just talking program. Technically, well-being is right, but I just want to put it under general fitness. You can put /well-being actually, general fitness /well-being. And then the fifth one is like specialty. So we're talking about prehab, injuries, pregnancies, all your specialty. Yeah, it's good. So let's just run through the specialties. So the specialties are, we've got pregnancy, injury, prehab, disability. Any others there? No, that wouldn't come under specialty necessarily. Aging. Yes, sport performance. Yes, so female health.
That's a very healthy lunch for me.
Okay, so firstly, when we're doing a program, the most important thing is to get the outcome of the program. Usually, generally, there'll be one or two outcomes they want, but some people want all of them, some people want one, but we want to determine what is the most important one. Now, a lot of the times people want to go straight into like strength training or straight into like hypertrophy training, but they don't necessarily have the foundations to do that. And so first we're thinking we want to determine when we're doing programming the outcome they want to get, really simple. And I do want to make from this a cheat sheet where you can just understand how to quickly do this process, like in a program. So it'll be like a little bit of a flow chart. But the first one is, okay, what do they actually want? And you would start to circle that and really determine how, because this will determine how your programming looks, how you design it, and what are the features of it, okay? Any questions with that?
Or is that looking at how to set the same structure? Or is there saying maybe the goal change the structure?
Sorry?
I would tend to keep the same program structure no matter what the goal is.
You can do that. Yeah, you also can do that, yeah. But we're not talking about that today. I want to tell you how. I want to explain the strength corrective, but also how you can put features of all this within the program, okay? So I'll explain that. So the next thing we have to do is obviously they can want to lift 200 kilos, but if they don't have any the right hinging patterns, they don't have the right mobility, they don't have the right asymmetry, they don't have the right strength, you're going to set them up for injury and failure, right? So that's what we use our new member assessment for, right? Because we're actually getting a really good understanding of not only what they want to do, but limitations. Everyone's always talking about what they want to achieve, but the harder thing is to admit and to find the limitations to stop us from getting there, okay? And a lot of the times people want to skip that part. So the next part of this is once we've determined their goal is we want to determine their limitations. Cool? So we'll just put a section in there. And this is why the strength corrective is really important, because over years and years and years, it's seen the limitations that most people have, and it's put in there not to make them bored, but for them to overcome their limitations so then they can expand their movement capabilities. The most important thing from a strength corrective point of view is expanding someone's capabilities, their physical capabilities. Cool? So limitations. So obviously you've got, when we're doing the assessment, the new member assessment, what limitations do we see in our new member assessments? What do you see on the floor?
Postural.
Yes.
Postural issues.
Flexibility, mobility.
Yes.
Different things, same thing.
Bracing.
Yeah. So that's like flexibility, mobility. Flexibility, mobility. So just put flex. We know the difference between flexibility and mobility.
Tissue versus joint.
Sorry.
Tissue versus joint.
Correct. And
Active versus passive.
yeah, exactly.
Meaning?
Sorry.
Meaning?
Active mobility, like what you can actually
I can
access
do it myself.
versus
Yeah.
someone pushing you into position.
Yeah. Without complicating that though, basically, can they get into an end range of movement without withholding control? Versus, I can touch, like, for instance, I don't want to pick on yoga, but I trained a yoga instructor. They had the best mobility. I put them on a prowler. I saw their whole spine and all their joints and that just lose stability. So they had really good really good flexibility. They did have good control over their body, but as soon as we loaded it, it lost all its stability. So here when we're looking for this, we're looking for not only end range movement, but control in end range movements. Flexibility in the muscles, mobility in the joints, but control in those movements. Woody?
Like mind-body connection, like someone with trying to do like a basic deadlift hinge with like a hip hinge, they can't quite get it.
Correct.
Like the neural element in mobility?
It can be two. It can be two. So sometimes it's just literally the muscle is not conditioned and it'll just switch off. That one you're talking about motor control patterns.
Yeah, like I got a client that me and Tim did it with, and we tried getting the back extension to get him used to it, and he just can't quite. It's been really slow, and he's starting to grasp it. He can't quite grasp the idea of like the top half of his body moving.
So that's a motor pattern and motor control. So that's his nervous system trying to learn a pattern that he has not done, and it's almost like you're teaching a new language. Yeah. So that's a motor control issue. Okay. So that's more to do with the nervous system.
Strength.
Yep. Nice one. What comes up with strength? And I just want to say this quickly, okay? Because I've just had a couple of conversations. When we're doing strength testing, okay, we, especially in the new member assessment, because I've just seen a few people, and it's not necessarily wrong, but it's too much to do in a session. Look for actual muscle activation over looking for muscle activation through lines. So when we're looking through strength, and we'll touch on this a little bit more in detail in another session, there's only a few basic things we want to look for when we're looking for strength. We want to look that the lines, like we did that deadlifting session, that the lines are maintaining, because that represents groups of muscles together. We're not trying to isolate smaller muscles, which is not necessarily wrong. It's just hard to do in that small assessment. So we want to go for a more wider approach, looking at compound movements, looking for breaks in lines versus looking for muscle activation. Exactly, their chain of movement.
So you would
Yeah.
actually think it's very complex.
So when you look at this line, instead of me muscle testing every muscle in my back, when you see that line break, you just know the lines through the upper back have broken. You don't need to muscle test every little muscle in my back. If I'm holding this line here, can you see this line versus this line? So if that's what I mean as a direct example. Or holding a squat, knees like this. If the whole picture a line drawing all the way down here, and the line's just meant to be like that's the line that it's meant to be. If you get a break in that line, that whole ankle, knee, foot chain can be affected. So you don't have to look at small specific muscles. You're just looking at a one line that's joint from the hip down to the point of origin. But that's something different, okay? Does that Does that example help? So you're not trying to look for all these small things. You're just doing the compound lift. So we want to look for lines. We also later on, more of an advanced thing, is we want to look for asymmetries and muscle imbalances. But that's later on. Does everyone know what I mean by asymmetries? If I do a single leg sit to stand, if I do a single leg sit to stand and I get 5 on one side and 20 on the other side, is that going to be a huge issue? Yeah. Because under force, under speed if you increase speed, if you increase incline, if you increase force, that imbalance is going to multiply in a compound nature. It's not just going to be a 5 kilo difference. Under force, it's going to increase to 20, 30, 100 kilos difference. And so you're going to increase injury there. And that's
That's simple too. Simple to test.
real simple to test, right?
Just literally match it and you match it on the other side.
Yep.
How do you spell asymmetries?
What?
How do you spell?
Okay, so with this strength corrective was created with all this in mind. Okay, so the reason why you're sitting there boring doing one side is because we're trying to correct asymmetries. The reason why we're doing in some sections, we're doing, what we don't have here actually is, it's kind of like stability and balance. But we're correcting posture. We're correcting all the limitations. So out of this strength corrective was created out of the new member assessment. Sorry? Doesn't it? Yeah.
I think it was work out a strength corrective like B1.
Yeah.
That was permanently changed, I think, once accidentally by a coach. So that is something that comes up a lot. It's like a hip kind of adjustment, which is still good. But I noticed that it was very different from the original structure. And so, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually, I was just talking to Eth about it. It is a little bit, right now it is a little bit confusing in terms of like how many programs there is and like the A and the B, and then also explaining what's the difference between them.
I thought A was beginner, B was intermediate, and then like C was like stronger.
Yeah, it's like a progression.
But you always kind of start people like one level below.
Yeah, it can be a progression like that. But I want to kind of make that really simple, but also just understanding the philosophy will help you kind of go through that section as well, of taking a beginner, intermediate. But sometimes it's harder because sometimes someone needs to stay a little bit longer in their progression shot. I also want you to see how you can progress someone using just the foundational templates. Cool? All right. How are we doing so far? Okay, so next thing overall, we need to understand their capacity. The capacity. Do different populations have different capacities? Right? So we've got two different, we've got training age and we've got age as well. Training age and age. Cool? Does it, you know what training age is?
Tell me how long you've been training.
Yeah. How long they've been training.
Structured program or been coached? Is it not more like
That's good. That's a
Quality training.
yeah.
train for 10 years?
What we really want to know is, are their ligaments, tendons, muscles conditioned to a certain level of volume, right? And what's their history? Have they been injured from that or not injured from that? So that's what training history is, okay? But the next one is, it's not only about training history, because you can be training for 20 years properly, but if you're 60 years old, you're going to recover different to a 20-year-old, right? And so what are the different factors when we're looking at capacity for different age brackets? So let's go 20, what's our most common age brackets?
30 to 50.
Yeah, but break it down in 10-year blocks.
40 to 50 maybe?
Yeah, so what do you reckon, 30, 40, 50?
40 to 50.
And then some 20-year-olds, so we'll add some 20-year-olds. So how about we go 20, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40, 60. Let's go 20, 30, 40, 60.
Capacity?
Yeah, this is capacity. This is capacity. So training age. So what do we have to think about when it comes to a 20-year-old? Let's use the limitations to help with this. What are the limitations of a 20-year-old? Can I start us off? Yes. Their motor control is horrible because they haven't had enough time to learn patterns. But they've got all this energy, all this recovery, and they're just doing the movements that they do is absolutely horrid most of the time. Not all the time. So that's a really good, so they've got more motor control limitations. They also will neglect things like their mobility. How many football players have awesome engines, or they've got they don't have the other issues, like they don't have endurance issues, they won't have strength issues, but they will have motor control and mobility issues.
They'll have really big of some areas, but then the gaps are crazy.
Are huge, right? So that's something important to note. But can they? What's the benefits of they can recover really well? Natural strength, yeah, and fitness as well, right? Sorry, Eth, I'm making it hard for you. All right, so that's good. Anything else with that? We'll probably have to move on because I'm going to spend too long here. So 30 years old.
Yes, warn me.
Sorry?
Warn me.
Okay. So this is where the recovery starts to slow down. So this is where recovery starts to slow down.
Still, I think the big thing is still thinking you can recover like you do.
Yes,
Then
100%.
Even 40, you think the same about
you start caring.
20-year-old mindset?
Yep. 20-year-old mindset.
Yeah. Then you start to care about mobility and.
Yeah, so the upside is that you get forced into, you're more open to mobility. And it's probably why you're seeing a coach at this time.
Yeah.
It's probably why you're seeing a coach, right? So this is an awesome age to train, right? Also, what about from a fat loss point of view? There's still 20s and 30s, your metabolism is still pretty good, okay? Yeah, we put injuries. So this is where because you're training like a 20-year-old, your injury, and it's probably they're into their career now. Okay, so they're probably going to be sitting down a lot. They're not moving as much. Blah 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 blah. They need 40. And don't worry, don't worry. We all got to hit all ages. None of us are protected from. So this is where joint remodeling and tendons become a massive thing. This is where training you really need to understand volume in training. You need to understand sets. You need to understand how you're loading specific tendons. Don't overload certain tendons. Mobility becomes a huge issue. This is now where they're in the peak of their career as well, and they probably have different things. So they're probably pushing really hard in their career. If they're a career person, or they might have family, kids. So this is where stress management is a huge factor here.
It gets hard sometimes to get them to buy in on certain things that they even though they might know it's better, it can be hard to get them.
Can you give me an example, Woody?
We should work on the depth of your squat with a goblet before we go to the barbell. But they're just there's certain things that they just would rather push through than try and strip it back.
Mm.
Can't be quite stubborn.
A lot of blokes do that.
Yep. All right, 50s now.
They could either be weapons or they're falling apart.
Yeah.
Running in the sawdust.
Sorry?
50s. Menopause, big one.
Sorry?
Changing hormones.
Yes, for both for men and for females.
Is there a male version of menopause?
Yeah, it's called andropause.
Andropause.
Yeah.
men now.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is sorry, for 40s for females as well. Menopause, 40. So just very important to note that a lot of females the average is around 40 to 42 where it starts. And a lot of the time, it's not actually told to them that so they'll start to get all these different things. Anxiety might increase, or they'll start to get changes in their mood. They might start to get different types of injuries. So very specifically, frozen shoulder, MCL tears. Males will get more back issues, so degeneration in the discs. And it's all the way that hormones interact with bone and cartilage formation. I'll just pause here. Can we see how this is going to affect programming? Or yeah.
Yeah, but I have a few clients, or I had a few clients that are in the 40s, and then like they were no upset, maybe upset the wrong group, but they were like really in a hurry to get tough program, or and then to stop them. Oh my God, anyways. I mean, what you in that situation?
Yeah. That's more 60s. Yeah, you can put that in 60s. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's just like an experience thing. And that's just about connecting the program and the journey to seeing why, and it's all about how you cue them. Because we can make people sweat on a strength corrective. So if intensity is an issue, then that's an application. One, not understanding it, not being connected to it, and then how you kind of make that intense. There's a certain way to make this intense, and then there's a certain way to make it more enjoyable. We will cover. So I think the first part is for me to connect you to this program is the first part, and that'll already fix up a lot. Because if you can see the potential on how this helps someone's limitations, how that gets someone to the next point, but then also how to make the program interesting, I think all that will solve it. And then if they're still stubborn, there's still more things to do. But if they're too stubborn, you just let nature do the thing. If someone's driving into a wall, I'd say probably don't drive into the wall, It's probably not a good idea. And if they say, I want to keep driving, I like driving fast, I'm like, okay, maybe slow down a little bit. If they still don't want to listen, you go say, if you keep driving into that wall, you're going to smash and wreck your car, yeah? And that's not what you're kind of working towards. And then if you drive into that wall, you might kill yourself and things, right? But if they still want to drive into the wall, then it turns from you being the teacher to the wall being the teacher. If you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because there's a certain reality now. Like when it comes to, we can have all the ego. We can want to do all the things, but there's certain limitations to the body. I don't care what anyone says, and those are guided by different principles of physiology, exercise science, gravity, force, and so if we're not understanding all those principles that actually affect the outcomes. Then it's not always going to lead. Not always lead. I'm not saying everyone needs. There's some people that can skip this and they're good. Their mobility is good. That's not there, and you can go into hard training. I'm not saying not to train people hard and all that. I'm just saying it is. We can't miss these steps because it's our duty of care to get someone sustainable results and move them through in a way that they can. What we teach them lasts them a whole lifetime. It affects their family. It affects their whole, their health, their family's health, their kids' health. So it's not just when they come here, it's the curriculum that they get. And that curriculum, the things that we teach, they can have for a lifetime, right? And then that's how we impact our community. That's the thing that we're bringing in to the community. And it's really needed. What we do is super, super needed. So what I'm trying to say is I take this process seriously because I know the level of responsibility we have. We're literally impacting all the people that come in. we're literally impacting their health outcomes. That's crazy. That's a crazy responsibility. So that's why I just take this part seriously. 50s, I really love those hormonal shifts. We talked about those hormonal shifts and how they can impact bone, how they can impact tendons, how they can impact recovery. Now, 50s and 60s falls, their vestibular system starts to be impacted now. So their balance, their vestibular system. This is actually an awesome age to train though, because they're usually really open, their egos are really low, they're really mature, they've got a lot of life experience. They're really amazing. Their body just needs more love and tender care here, right? More an approach that really helps, work on the vestibular system, work on things like osteopenia or osteoarthritis. They've got more arthritis as well, right? So more joint problems here.
Start looking at 30s plus.
Yeah, so you start to get a muscle breakdown. We start getting that muscle loss. Yeah. Awesome. So what have you learnt from just breaking down the capacities point of view? What have you learnt? Or what have you been reminded of?
Well, you come in the view with the same brush.
Yep. Yep.
Everyone needs specific different things.
Yep.
What I've learned is more on the limitation side of it. I want to learn about the physiological principles of each thing.
Yep.
What's the standard trying to get to?
Yep. Do we put injuries, limitations? We've got injuries there. We need injuries. In limitations, just to add to this, we also need work stress, like work and life stress. Okay, so we've you understand their goals, you assess their limitations, and you understand the capacity of the different age groups. Cool? Next part is just determining if this is really simple, there's other ways you can do this, but just determining are they beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Cool? From all that, are they intermediate, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Cool? That just helps us understand now when we go to program, which is what we're about to do, it just understands how we can structure a program. Cool? So we'll turn that around. So what are the different things? How would we generally, this is just really basic general programming, how would we generally structure a beginnings program? First, let's start on how many days a week would a beginner start generally? Yeah, nice. And what's their rep range generally at the beginner range?
I think we're opposites. I think I do high and you do low.
No, but you're correct. Yeah.
High plus lower loads.
Exactly. Yeah. You're technically correct. Yeah. I'm not going to go through a more like different opinion. I just want to do general stuff today. So yeah, you're right there in terms of rep ranges are. 8 to 15, 10 to 15. About 10, like 8. I'll do 8. We're doing. Let's do 8 to 16. Yeah. And then what about the sets per how many total sets in a program?
In like one workout?
One workout, yeah. Total workout? Total, yeah. So for each exercise, probably 2 to 3. 2 to 3. Yeah. So let's just say.
6 exercises in total.
Yeah. So just say.
Plus the warm-up and cool-down.
Exactly. Yeah. So 2 to. Yeah. So that's what's that total? 2 times 6, 12. Around about sets are about per group.
Per
So it's about sets can be anywhere between 8 to 12. Yeah. And as I said, this is just general, okay? We're just doing general stuff here.
Per exercise or per muscle?
Yeah, per exercise. Per exercise. But that's a really good point, Heath. So the other thing is understanding the balance between, on a general program, you probably wouldn't hit in the same program the same movement. So you would probably do upper, like a squat with a pull, and then a hinging pattern with a push. You wouldn't do double ups on joints, and you would try to spread the load quite evenly throughout the body.
Also grips, I learned recently, not to do two conflicting grip exercises in a row.
Exactly. Why can you tell everyone why that is?
Just to me, it's fatiguing the forearms, fatiguing the next exercise, takes away from the performance.
Yeah.
Also, you said with the law of grips, I think, was it?
Yeah, we won't touch on that now, but yeah, there's a principle between how you can bring down stress on the joints, and it's like a rotation principle or a degree principle, where in one workout, if you've been doing it like a neutral grip, you can change the plane and then change the grip on the next phase to start to change the way the muscle recruitment, the joint stress, and the different fibers being activated.
I would add also the rest in 1 week's rest.
Beautiful. So longer rest periods, yeah. Okay, let's go to just longer, because it might be different for everyone. Sometimes it's shorter for some people. So sometimes with female clients, because they've got, and I'm adding more stuff here. Sometimes with female clients, they can recover faster. So they can lift for them a more heavier, moderate weight for longer with lower rest periods. Where males can, and this is general, but males can usually lift heavier, but the fibers, yeah. So, but then they need longer rest. So they can lift heavier, but they need longer rest periods as a general rule.
Would you focus also in the beginning, time under tension or something you add?
Tempo, nice. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So you would actually do a slower tempo.
And that's when you're kind of driving intensity, tempo, volume,
Exactly right.
understand all that.
And so you're focusing on slower type eccentric and pausing to build stability, to build strength. $145. Half an hour left? Okay.
You can do it in multiple parts, no stressing.
Yeah, okay.
Do you need a breath?
No, I'm good for now. Do we want to take a break soon, or are we good? If you need an individual break, you can just step out if you need one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Intermediate. But that was good. Thank you for who said tempo. Thank you, G. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good one. I forgot that important one. Yeah. So eccentric loading is also good for slowing down. So it's good for motor patterns because it makes them do it slow. Really good for building muscle as well in the eccentric phase, and super important for conditioning ligaments and tendons as well. Pauses, slow. So that's the winner for the beginners. Cool. Intermediate.
Probably training. Anywhere from like 2 to 4 times a week, maybe?
Yep. And there's different ways we can do this. We can do, because we've already got the 2, let's just say it's 3, right? Yeah. So we can do the 3 full body days with this, or we can do an upper, lower, full body. Upper, lower, full body. And then obviously if it goes 4 days, we can do, yeah. Now, some people can get away with, but I think this is more of an advanced thing, doing 4 upper body days full body, 4 full body days, but I think that's in advanced. Yeah. Sorry?
3 full bodies is hard.
Mm. Reps.
Well, yeah, but the rest, it depends.
Huh?
I think it depends.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I like let's just talk, like they've got a wider, let's just say it's a wider range, because this all depends. What I'm saying is this is not like,
you have to follow that.
this is just a really good, simple guideline to just help thinking patterns, okay? So I would say it opens right up. So five, I would go, if they're intermediate, I would say they can go 5s. You'd probably have to manage the load, so it might not be true 5s. Yeah. Yeah, 6, yeah. Oh, let's go 6. Yeah. It's functional hypertrophy, yeah. And then sets. Let's go sets.
And then we set the event.
2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 4.
Total?
Yep.
Session? 10 to 16, 20?
Yeah, just,
Or still 8?
I think 8 is still good. But they can increase their capacity to like 16, I think, 14 to 16, yeah. Let's go 16, yeah. Rest period can be varied here. So varied just for their goal. It's not as important. It really depends on the rep range that they're using.
So lower reps, higher reps.
Lower reps, higher rest, lower rest. Yeah, higher reps, lower rest, yeah. And tempo can also be, we can move a little bit faster now. So instead of slow, it can be medium. Obviously, you can always use everything, but let's just take it up to medium just for reference sake.
2 second eccentric.
Yeah, can be a bit fast. Their movements now can be a bit faster. They've got good motor control patterns. They've got strength. They've got less limitations.
Or they're slowing down that compound.
Yeah. And like G and Kieran said, there's so many variations that you can. So we don't want to be limited, but I want to just go away from variations so it creates a pathway that's just like, oh yeah, I've got somewhere to land. I can work around where I'm landing, but I know what group they're in. Advanced for the last one.
I have in mind to look like from right across with constant different as well. I can't remember exactly, but it was, certain goals for the beginner, certain goals for the intermediate.
Nice.
Process for
Yep. That's good. We will add that. 3 to 5, yeah. You could even still go 2. You could even go 2. And I'll tell you why that these rep range might look like the advanced. Their sets, their reps can be really low. Why is that? So if someone's doing a 300 kilo deadlift.
Then it depends, of course, if they do complex movements.
Exactly. So rep ranges here, we've opened up the scale, so they've got full, they can go 1. Yeah. So they got the full open range. I actually think beginners can go to 30 as well. Maybe it gets a bit uncomfortable with lactic acid. Let's just say 25, yeah. Because the lactic acid may make beginners a bit like, they're not.
They get sick.
They do.
Yeah.
That's their
They feel
that's
yucky. They get really close to it.
that's their detoxification pathways.
Yeah. They're like, ugh. And they're like, all right, sit down.
Yeah, they finally get to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sets per exercise. This you can go up to like 2 to like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GVT.
Yeah.
Yeah, gym up all
Yeah. You got to be careful with this stuff, but yeah.
for a workout. What do you think?
It can be per exercise. It can be per exercise. Because yeah.
And then total sets.
Sets. So sets can be. You can. Sets. I would say 5. Like you can have a really lean program here. And it can go to like 20. Depends on who you're training and how you're training them.
I think that, yeah.
But see how there's not limitations. There's just things you got to tick off. So like if someone comes, if someone like rocks up to like a sporting event, there's a grand final. It's like, oh, I want to play. Well, it's just like you can't actually play. You can't actually get into the team. But like, no, I just want to do it. You're just gonna is like in the AFL that you're gonna say, oh yeah, you can play because you want to play.
I find
Challenge me, Woody.
the issue, like you're saying, like if they're like, well, I've got a membership, and I'm paying $120 each week. I reckon I can play. That's kind of what I feel. I like the strength creativity, but getting the buy-in, I find sometimes the most difficult.
That's that.
Especially because sometimes they're doing one session a week, and even if you're really honest with them about their like how they're going to go and the length that it's going to take.
Yep.
Sometimes the pressure I find of trying to keep them as a client, trying to keep them engaged in everything you do.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like I will not give in, but then there's
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's good because you're trying to no. And at the end of the day, at the end of this, I'm going to give you techniques to how you would how you can bend the program to make them happy and make them see, how you can bend them. And again, it all does also come from how you're explaining things to them. That's why I'm showing you all this. So the first cure to that is explaining them in a certain way that gives enough context so they see the value in it. The second thing is knowing how to bend. So you still can bend to make it better for them. And I'll show you how to do that. And those two things together help reduce that pressure, right? So it's not about like, yes, I'm saying like I'm strict with the limitations, right? But there's always creative ways we can still give them what they want. Okay?
Yeah, I kind of think I thought too, I was just like, we should know how to do it first before we start to then.
100%.
So that's just the thing like
And it is, it actually is a really good skill as a coach because it is hard because you can't and you're following a system. But it actually builds really, really good discipline later on in your career because it's the hardest now, but then later on you'll look back and you'll be like, okay, as you kind of understand the processes, as you do them more and more yourself, then you'll look back and say, oh, I'm actually glad I had all those hard conversations. I'm glad that I felt uncomfortable in my sessions because that uncomfortability is bringing you to your next level of coaching. If you stay always comfortable, you're going to stay at the level of coach that you were when you started. And I'm not saying we shouldn't integrate what you say because what you're saying is still important. We still want to make sure that we're giving them what they want and giving them the intensity and having all aspects that they will enjoy from their sessions. I'm not saying we still don't do that, but the other way around is when we're feeling uncomfortable and we work through that and we sit in that day to day, we actually learn all the skills that we need to be amazing coaches. And a lot of my career was actually just sitting in uncomfortable things that I was super uncomfortable with. Like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I don't. But then I realized when you kind of work through it all, you'll get to a point where you can hold someone else's comfortability, still work through it. So it's what I'm not saying as well. We don't want to be like stubborn and say, no, it's our way or the fucking highway, right? I'm not saying that, but you'll get to a point where you can do both. You'll get to a point you can do both. Cool?
On that point, I've had a bit of success maybe merging the strength practice stuff in warm-ups. So it'll be like, whether
All right, where was I?
Strength corrective.
Advanced guys.
Advanced? Did we go through this?
Just the rest of the tempo we didn't do, but
Tempo is varied. This is just so much it's so dynamic. You can do pretty much anything with an advanced person. All right, let's go through. Okay, do we want to go through the strength corrective now?
yep.
God, I really built to that, didn't I?
Shadow. That'd be good.
No, this is it. So let's go. So I do the strength corrective with the warm up first. Okay, so A1, A2. So if you can do A1, A2, B1, C1, C2, D1.
Well, B1 and then iterate into C.
Yeah, just C. This is traditional. You can vary this, but this is just traditional, right? Okay. So strength corrective, let's just say, what are two strength? So basically we're doing the assessment, right? The person's got like a really bad neck because their shoulder is not moving properly, right? And it affects them all the time. So they're at their desk, they're getting headaches, right? So what are we going to give him here? We might give him an external rotation, okay? Actually, stop there. Firstly, let me go through the philosophy of each. So A1, A2, the philosophy behind the A1, A2 is to reduce their limitations in terms of their mobility, stability, limitations, okay? Yeah, so I want to do a bench press, but my shoulder is hurting and it's unstable. So I can't do the bench press. That goes here. I want to do a squat, but I don't have the knee stability or the glute activation yet, okay? So this is like freeing them, A1, A2 is freeing them from their limitations, okay? B1, everyone's like, oh, this program's boring. The philosophy behind B1 is, and this is to what Kieran was saying, is strength. But strength with the goal to increase complexity of the movement, right? So let's just start, let's just say, what do we want to increase a strength? We just say a squat. Why do we start at a goblet squat? Yeah, complexity is less. Steph just said, so it's front loading, it's teaching them how to brace, teaching them about how to put their thoracic up. If they've got ankle mobility issues, they're going straight into a goblet squat, right? Yeah, but exactly right. So, so we start at the goblet squat, but we don't want to keep them there, right? And so I think what you guys are missing is where the progression is, right? How much does a straight bar weigh? 20 kilos. So here, just for instance, when we're building their strength and building them strength into complexity, if we want to build them from a goblet squat, what weight do we know that they need to be before they can jump on a bar?
Where this is based on generally, I believe, for the squats, talking about squats. I mean, following the example kilo.
Yeah.
Okay, I follow. I mean, you start with the goblet squat, of course, because you find some technical breakdown. You can't put that press on under the bar.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you start with some degrees with the heels elevated if they need.
Yeah.
Then you start to take the weight and then
Yeah.
Put a band.
And
Yeah.
then maybe you can start with the safety bar squat.
Exactly.
From there, camel squat.
Exactly. So this whole part is to help them progress in their strength movement. So I don't know about you, but if you're progressing my movements to the point that I'm doing more and more and being more and more capable and expanding the repertoire, what is boring about that? Monotony of progression.
Oh, wait, no.
What was the question? Sorry.
So he said that
It's all about and it's all about understanding this process and what it's doing. So you see here, we're building strength to them in their big movements. So we're breaking their big movements down: bench press, squat, deadlift. This part is to build strength here. Our sole purpose here is to build strength up in that movement.
This is what we need on paper, on the walls.
It's only because because I tortured Woody with a program for a client, and she had other complex things going on, and so the way I had to load her nervous system was like the world's boringest program. It was more boring than this program. So that's why this is actually different to that. She got fantastic results, like absolutely fantastic results. So we're trying to build strength here, okay? This C1, C2, this is what I like to call the breakdown. This is where you're doing breakdowns, but also slash hypertrophy in their breakdown area. Let me explain. So we're here, right? And we have this breakdown, right? So we want to both correct that weakness, but also build up muscle mass, because usually where they're breaking down is where they don't have muscle mass either. So we use functional hypertrophy or hypertrophy to build up the breakdowns from the assessment to build up their lift. And this is one upper and one lower. So now we are covering, so here we covered the reducing the limitations. Here we're improving their strength. Here we're still working on their weakness and breakdowns, but we're trying to build muscle in that area. Yeah? So this is the hypertrophy zone. Any questions with C1, C2? And this is usually upper and lower. It's an upper and lower combination.
So with the example of like the hinge breaking down, what exercises would you put there?
Yeah, so let's actually do, like, let's say it's a squat, right? Or no, you want a deadlift.
Well, you've been showing a deadlift, yeah?
I've been showing like deadlift, yeah. Or, sorry?
Do an exercise for that one.
Which one?
That one you've done, the collapsing shoulder.
Yeah, so this would be an incline row, because you've got thoracic extension, and it's based on like a pulling movement, but I wouldn't double the grip up. If we're doing a squat here, what type of leg movement would we do if we're already doing an anterior squat?
Hinge.
Yes, exactly.
I think I need to be.
Question, Woody?
I think
Okay.
everyone needs to be really clear on those like movement patterns.
Sorry?
I think everyone needs to be really clear on those movement patterns. Like,
I printed out an exercise selection sheet for everyone.
I'm gonna have a meltdown to a client in a class because she's got a hinge work for quads. I was just like, what? How long have you been here? You know what I mean? Like, so.
Cool. We've got a lower. And then D1 is this is what your finisher. So this can either be, usually I do a drag because a drag has a corrective nature and it elevates the heart rate. So how safe is like a backward drag? How safe is a like prowler push when they're like upright? How high does it put their heart rate? Right? So we're still like, just say we got, like, I need to adjust their shoulders and I want to activate their VMOs and I want to increase their foot strength. Yeah? But they don't necessarily have to know all that detail, but we're finishing off with a finisher there. Now, this can also be a place where we can put, if one of their goals is to build their arms, if another goal is to hit their glutes, if another goal, we can also, this is where we can give them what they want a little bit more and add it in. Depending on their limitations, okay? So if they've just got a limitation of like ankle mobility, everything's else okay, you need time to work on that. You don't have to restrict everything, right? Depends what category, what category they're in. Now, so that is the breakdown that's the philosophy breakdown. So we've got breaking through limitations, building strength, hypertrophy, finisher. Philosophy here is we want to feel a light burn and we want proper mind-body connection. Philosophy here, we want to build up motor patterns, movement complexity, and strength. Philosophy here, can we go a little bit harder with hypertrophy? A little bit harder, right? We can just, and can we work on, make sure the tempo is right? Can we get the muscle squeeze in there? Can we focus on all those hypertrophy elements? 100%. Conditioning, can we focus now more on higher heart rates, different things to improve their performance? You can do, not to say to do this in the baseline pattern, but this is where you can do some of the, some more sports performance stuff as well. Maybe you would put it higher if it was a sports program, but strongman stuff is perfect for the end. And so as soon as a client's gone through this, this is probably one of the most impactful things you can know about programming. We're doing all the philosophy, but in answer to your question about making a client leave or making them feel like they've done something, if they feel they've got the burn when they're doing activation and they're connected to a muscle that they've never connected to, if they feel like they're walking out and they're lifted stronger than they did the week before, their movement pattern's better and their movement complexity is getting better and better. If they feel like they've pushed a little bit and got a really good pump in the areas of the body that they needed to, right? Next day they feel a little bit of soreness there. If they finish off with a high heart rate, exhausted, tell me that a person is not going to be satisfied by a workout like that, with that much thought into it, with all those concepts in that. Okay, so hopefully this jazzes up, hopefully the philosophy into the strength corrective program jazzes this up a bit. Now, let's talk about sets, okay? So usually, I'm going to give you the full program structure and then we can alter it depending on the person's level, okay? So 3 sets for A series. 3 sets.
Yeah.
Rep range 12 to 16, okay?
Yeah.
B series.
Compound.
3 to 7,
Yeah.
rep range.
Wait, 3 to 7 sets?
Reps.
How many sets? 3 still?
Usually 3.
3 to 5. 3 to 5. Because you can do strength training.
By 7.
3 to 7.
3 to 7.
7 by
So
5.
are you doing sets or reps now?
3 to 7.
Sets by reps. Sets by reps.
Reps is 3 to 7 because we're in strength range. Okay. Functional hypertrophy.
9 to 12.
We can do it'll be 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
Yeah.
Functional hypertrophy.
Yeah, and hypertrophy.
Functional hypertrophy.
Yeah. Maybe 6 to 10 probably is
Yeah, sorry.
6 to 10, and sets can be 3 to 4 here. 3 to 4 sets. Finishes can be anywhere between 1 set to 3 sets. Okay. So now, if you go to a beginner, how would we make this a beginner program? We'd probably only do 2 sets of the limitations, or we can do 3. Maybe they need a little bit more of that. We can do maybe 3 sets in the compound movement, but the reps will be a little bit higher, possibly, right? This wouldn't go to 4 sets. You'd probably do 2 to 3 sets here. And then only 2 sets with the conditioning. Advanced, you could still train someone advanced here. You could have 3 sets at the top, 5 sets in the middle for strength, 4 sets for hypertrophy, and 3 to 4 sets for conditioning. That's a very mean program there, right? You can, and then obviously as you're working this, the goal is in the future is to have like a template. Like this is a strength corrective template that you can, like obviously we'll have it templated so it goes over with the most common things, right? And the assessor needs to update it. We'll go on how we can update this. But this can be progressed very easily, right? Because the limitations will change based on that assessment that we do every month now. Because we can assess how they're improving with those limitations. If they don't have any limitations, this can change, right? With the compound lift, are they getting stronger? Once they're strong enough to do their lift, are they moving to the next movement complexity? In the next program, like do they kettlebell for 1, kettlebell for 2, then they go to the safety bar, then they go to the cambered bar. then finally they're ready for the straight bar. Cool. Then they might be ready for front squats. So how much program and progress is that over 6 months without changing the actual structure? Hypertrophy, it can go for, okay, now they don't have breakdowns. What muscles do you want to bring out? What parts of the body do they want to work on? What parts of the body do you think they need to work on more and develop? Then you just start to develop different parts, right? They might want to work on their chest more. They might want to work on their glutes more. Then you can start to develop that area. And the real fun thing is about how hypertrophy is about load usually indicates muscle mass. So any extra reps, any extra weight in that functional hypertrophy range usually correlates, not always, usually correlates to an increased muscle mass in that area. So you can start being selective to how you're pinpointing what you're developing in that client. Conditioning, you can then start to develop different things. You can take them through the whole strongman series. And once you developed one movement, once you've gone from a backward drag, go to a frontward drag, then you go to a prowler, then you go to a low prowler, then you go to a log lift. There's so many ways that you can keep running this program for a whole freaking year, which is progressive, not random. It's not just, you're not building them to like random outcomes. They're all leading to a place. They're all leading somewhere. And you can do that all through just a strength corrective program.
So then it becomes like a strength corrective, but intermediate, or strength corrective, but it's
advanced.
Yeah,
and someone might have an injury, or but that's the assessor's job to give this updated program and pass it down, if they are passing it down or doing that. But all this information is derived from what goals they have, what their limitations, where are their capacities, and then what level they're at, right? And then we can run a full system here, and that's what those templates are there for. These are there for, they're built on this philosophy, and it goes, so what we're gonna start building out is a very clear pathway. And obviously you're gonna be, the assessors are gonna be editing these templates. They're going to be using their own judgment, their own assessment to make the best possible programs. But I just want you to understand the philosophy behind the strength corrective program, how you can progress it, how you can regress it, what the different elements are to how they're built out and the philosophy behind they're built out. So have we answered the question of what the structure is to a strength corrective program? Is there any other questions we need to?
There's the compound, the B lift, or is it lower body compound?
No, can be upper as well.
Thanks, good. That helps know more about it.
Yep.
I think our energy as well is very important.
It is, yeah. Because I just think you aren't connected to it enough. Do you have a little bit of understanding about the why behind how it's built and what each section is built upon?
I think it is give also the kind of longevity of the journey.
It is. It does. It does.
First, I set PR first week, and then assuming 12 months with all the journey, they never get like bored, or they always.
It's the opposite to getting. Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's built. So, in terms of how we'll mix it up, we'll touch more on more practical stuff. We'll actually get a strength corrective, and we'll get the template. I'll get everyone to get the template, and we'll do an assessment, and we'll actually build using the template. We'll actually build what a program will look like for an assessment and how. Huh? You sure can. No, we can. Anyway, I've got to get to a session. We're going to be doing more stuff like this. I just had to go through the basics. So we're just going to establish like what the systems are. We're just going to be going over them to just really establish clear frameworks for them all. Cool?